one of our listeners is thinking about taking on a project of their own, small scale, do it yourself in the beginning, depending on what it is, so you can learn all the lessons, you can learn how to do it, or have a mentor. Welcome back to Ladders and Leverage. This podcast is all about real operators, real deals, and real execution, not theory. On this show, we break down what actually happens behind the scenes in real estate. The business plans, the challenges, the lessons, and execution it takes to scale. Today's episode is going to be a little different, folks. It's just Marissa and I. So instead of a guest, we're going to pull back the curtain a little bit on something that's truly been the backbone of our journey, construction management, my specialty. Laugh out loud. From small unit remodels to flips to managing multifamily renovations, ADUs, and large-scale projects. So construction has played a major role in how we've grown GeoLive and execute our business plans in the real world. So this is going to be very honest, I promise, behind the scenes conversation about the evolution from hands-on work to project management, the mistakes that we've made, especially me. Marissa doesn't make mistakes.
This is true.
So what we've learned and what it really takes to manage renovations at scale. Marissa Buss, I'm really excited for this one.
Me too. I am so excited for today's episode because this is our side-by-side journey that people don't always see. The construction, the execution, the day-to-day reality behind the projects, the bickering. A lot of people see acquisitions, the deals, the growth of GeoLive, and what they don't always realize is how much of our foundation was built through hands-on construction, learning projects from the ground up, and managing renovations at every level. So, many of you don't know about Danny's background, but he didn't start in large multifamily renovations
True.
or ADU developments. It started much earlier working with his dad in high school doing handyman work for property management companies, doing everything from cleaning common areas, pool decks, and small maintenance jobs in older apartment buildings. We used to call these the light runs.
Yep.
This is what we did when we first were married, too.
Uh-huh.
Then, before the military, he worked for a general contractor in Rhode Island on commercial projects, including building Wendy's, yes, the fast food restaurant, locations around New England, which really gave him exposure to real timelines, job sites, and professional construction environments. After that came the military, where he was deployed to a Bear base during the Iraqi War and was actually involved in helping build the base infrastructure in Tent City under extreme conditions, which really shaped his discipline and execution mindset. So fast forward to our first property, like Sedgeworth, where we were doing the floors and learning the hard way, especially what I would call it marriage counseling projects.
Yeah. Okay.
So including the famous countertop grinder story, which is not what you think. Don't go there. And then Somerset, our full first flip, eventually larger projects like Harvard, where he managed multiple unit remodels without a general contractor. Don't tell our lender. Back then, we're already refinanced out of it. It went well, thank goodness. And now GeoLive. Danny oversees renovations, ADUs, contractors, permits, budgets, and project execution across multifamily properties at scale. So today's episode is really about construction management from a real operator's perspective, from small remodels in our own personal homes to full flips to managing 20-plus unit renovations and large projects, and the lessons, mistakes, and systems that come along with scaling. Danny, I am excited to dive into this journey because it has truly been, in your opinion, the backbone of how we've built and executed our real estate business.
Yep.
All right, let's get this party started.
Yes.
Look at me.
What a great intro. Thank you for all that.
Oh,
It,
you're
it
welcome.
really dives into the whole history from starting with my dad to now managing, I don't know, $4 million in construction
Over that right
this
now,
year. Oh,
if you think about it.
okay.
You're managing over $4 million. I
Wow.
mean, if you want me to really do the numbers, I can do them real quick in my head. But let's first start off
Okay.
with our first question for you today, sir. Early roots, okay? Going back to Mitchie and handyman days. So,
Mitchie
question is,
maintenance.
Mitchie maintenance. Danny, before large renovations and ADUs and multifamily projects, your construction journey really started back in high school with your dad.
Yep.
And back then, you weren't managing projects. You were doing the gritty jobs, such as cleaning pool decks, common areas, and even rundown apartment bathrooms in lovely Simi Valley, California.
Yes.
What did those early days look like, and how did that shape your work ethic?
Wow. Well, first, thank you for having me on the show today.
You're
I,
welcome.
I really appreciate it.
Anytime. We're going to see if we're going to have you back, depending on your
all right.
performance.
Well, I'm going to do the best I can. Okay.
We appreciate that.
So, yeah, Mitchie maintenance, as we called it. My dad was a firefighter, Ventura County, and he got his general contractor's license. And for him to get jobs and get started, which now, since we have our own property management company, that would be someone that we would hire. But we do things, a little different, more in-house, more vertically integrated. But so he would go to the property managers and the gals at the front, and that's how he would get work. And so he would have contracts with, different associations, and specifically, the one that you were talking about was a rundown apartment building in Simi Valley. Now, in high school, you're, at least for me, image was a lot, right? You want to be cool, you want to be part of the crowd, and cleaning bathrooms
Was really cool, I imagine.
was not considered cool.
I can't imagine why.
Okay, unclogging toilets, cleaning up after a party on a pool deck. And then this lovely apartment building, it was a 2-story apartment building, and it had an enclosed common area with stairs that led up to the upstairs units, and they were lovely carpet.
Oh,
So I had to bring my vacuum, and I would vacuum all the stairs. And in the summer, they didn't have air conditioning in there.
oh, slave labor conditions. We'll have to talk to Mitch about this.
Yeah. So, that's like, so then light runs kind of came from that apartment. The managers would be like, "Hey, Mitch, can you clean the bathrooms?" "Yeah, I can do that." "Mitch, can you change the light bulbs?" "Oh yeah, I can do that." And I was, starting out, so I didn't have skills at that time, like I do now.
Mm,
And so I was just building, so I didn't start managing construction. I started doing the jobs that nobody wanted to do.
that's good. Builds character.
It does. It
Good.
does.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. That makes a lot of sense of why you are the way you are today.
That's how it got started.
Okay, so fast forward a little bit. At 18, 19 years old, you moved to Rhode Island.
Yep.
After high school.
Yep.
So before you go in the military, before you go in the Air Force Base or Air Force, you moved to Rhode Island.
Mm-hmm.
And you ended up working for a general contractor, and you were on commercial sites building Wendy's.
Wendy's fast food restaurant.
So what was that like working with Bill Souza?
Bill Souza. Oh my God, Bill. I hope you tune into this episode at some point, because you were kind of a dick, but
I hope you tune in. You were kind of a dick.
you taught me so much. Like, I mean, I'm going to compare him to like Logan. So Logan is like the construction on-site manager for our projects now, my little brother.
Yeah.
And Logan knows how to do everything. You got a tool, or if you need a tool, he's got it. Da da da. Bill Sousa's that guy. Bill knew how to do everything. He had been working there for 20 plus years. His dad was like above him, kind of the manager. So I when I got out there, because I got kicked out of TO high school and then I went to continuation school and didn't have the best relationship with my dad's side, and my mom moved out there. So she flew in and she signed me up for continuation school. And I knew that I could finish continuation school fast based on what I've heard. So I got done with continuation school. We started in, October. I was done by January. I tested out everything. So I got out of high school early. So, I got a head start. You think, oh, you went to continuation school, but no, I was freaking on it. Okay. So some kids go there and they just, kind of just hang out and they don't do their stuff. But I was like, nope, I can test this, boom, done. So when I got out there, I didn't start working for Bill right away. I was working at Dunkin' Donuts. And I was 17, and the guy knew I graduated high school, so he assumed I was 18, and I would get the early shift, and I would make the donuts.
Oh, you've never made me donuts.
I haven't, because I don't really like donuts. Kind of mess my stomach up.
Oh,
So I would make the donuts, and then he, did some background stuff, and he's like, "Dude, you're not 18?" He's like, "You can't be doing the ovens if you're not 18."
oh,
So he's like, "I'm downgrading you. You're now a cashier and making less money. Instead of making $7 or $10 an hour, he's making like $9, whatever." I have no idea what the pay scale was.
it was probably closer to 7.
Yeah, no, seriously, right?
Yeah. No, because my first job was $4.25 an hour at Round Table Pizza at 14 years old.
Yep. So that makes
Yep.
sense. So Bill Sousa was my cousin was friends with his wife, and he was like, "Oh, you need a job?" But I'm like, "Yeah, I'm kind of over this Dunkin' Donuts BS." So he hired me, and I kind of slowly climbed up in the ranks. Like I was his right-hand man after, a few months. And so the general contractor had all these, he was the guy to build the Wendy's, the fast food place. And Wendy's aren't all in the same location. So we would travel around New England and build Wendy's, stay in hotels, this and that. I remember his other buddy, Flea.
Flea.
His name was Flea.
Was he in the Red Hot Chili Peppers by chance?
He kind of looked like he was a rock star, but he was another guy who kind of mentored me through things. And, so I ended up working there for a year, but back to the, intro of the story you were talking about. So we had a deadline, just like we have deadlines now with all our projects that always get blown out. He was like, "Dude, we need to get this kind of cool, trim around the entire Wendy's done." I'm like, "All right, let's do it, man." So we started, in the morning, and we had to have it done by, that tomorrow, the next day. And these were big, 3-foot sheets of metal that were all colorful, and we'd have to cut them with this special chop saw, and then you put these little inserts in to close them together. And it started snowing, and now it's 4:00. I'm like, "Dude, are we tapping out?" We start at 7. Dude, we got to get this done. So snowfall all through the night. We pull a freaking all-nighter, and the guy the owner of the company, he was also not very nice. So we didn't want to deal with the wrath of that guy. So we went through the snow, got these cuts, boom, made it. Bill was freaking over me by the time the clock ran or the day was over. And that was my Wendy's building experience. And that's why I don't really like Wendy's burgers and those little Frosties.
Little PTSD. I could see. All right. So then you joined the Air Force, okay, as a firefighter right after. So this was right after 9/11 when you went into the Air Force,
Yep,
correct?
January 2002.
Yeah.
I was already signed up, ready to go in. I had to wait 6 months because that job I wanted as a firefighter had a wait list. So as I was on the wait list, 9/11 hit. I was even more pumped to go in. You would think some people might be opposite. We're going to war. I was stoked. I wanted to go to war, but I was a fireman, so I didn't really like do war stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. So, okay. So you are in the Air Force as a firefighter. You're deployed.
Yep.
So, because of 9/11, you were deployed to build one of the first bases in Saudi Arabia, correct?
Yeah, that little area over there.
Yeah. Okay. So, you said you were helping building the base, tent city, even before fire trucks arrived.
Yep.
You were working 12-hour shifts in extreme heat, sandstorms, night shifts.
Yep.
So, tell us about that. What was that like? How did you handle that pressure and that stress? And especially when managing the construction and large projects, how does that relay that
Yeah.
experience?
Yeah. No. I mean, I remember this vividly. So March 2003, the Iraq War kicked off, and I was part of a 6-man team of fire departments or firefighters, and we were to go out there and provide fire protection for the base. We didn't. They don't really tell you much. They're like, dude, go. You're gonna be gone 6 months. Pack your bag. So this was like all hell was breaking loose out there. So like we got on a C-130, those cargo deals, and you're like sitting on the side of the freaking plane, strapped in. And it's like freaking loud, and you meet up with a bunch of other people from different jobs or so forth. And we ended up flying into Germany, and we're waiting to catch a flight out to our final location in the Middle East, and flights kept getting canceled, delayed. I'm sure like firemen are not a huge priority. They want to get the actual guys that fire guns and stuff out there first.
Infantry,
Infantry,
yeah,
yeah.
soldiers,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. So we ended up getting stuck in Germany for a week.
I'm sure that was really hard.
It was really hard. So the drinking age in Germany is 18,
Yes.
and I was 18. I was 19. So we had a little bit of fun out there. Commanders were like, "You guys are good to go. Yes, the drinking age is 18. Be careful. Make sure you report every day. Da da da. See if we're gonna get a flight out." So we're in there a week, and finally I'm like, "Oh shit, I should probably like call my dad, let him know what's going on." So I call my dad, and he's like, "Hey, what's going on?" I'm like, "Oh, dude, we're in freaking Germany, waiting to catch a flight out of here." And he's like, "Dude, you've been in Germany this whole time, and it's been a week. Your mom and I over here freaking the F out, and you didn't call, let us know what's going on." So we ended up I go, "Yeah, sorry about that." Well, we were busy catching a flight out there, and we get out there, and we didn't know we were building things when we got there. We were like, "Where's the fire trucks?" Da, da, da. So we pull up, and basically the reason we were there was this flight line already made, whatever the country of origin had. And our job was these cargoes would come in, and then they would get supplies that would go to the troops on the front line. So that
Okay.
was our role, right? Like you think, oh, everyone just goes out there and fights. Well, no, you got to have supplies and do all this stuff. So that was our job. So we get there and we're like, all right, where's the fire trucks? They're not here yet, dude. And there's like, it's just a flat sand
Yes.
little area fenced off. And you can see guys are starting to like build these big tent things. I forget what they're called. And so they're like, you guys are on the night shift, and you're working from 8 to 8. And this was so March, April, whatever now. Oh, yeah. No, we got out there. It was more summer because that's when the war started. And then a couple months later, we got out there. So whatever, May. And that's when it's starting to heat up out there. I mean, it would get to 120 degrees at times, not every day. Sandstorms are real. Okay. You kind of just hunker down. And then I was like, oh, we're on the night shift. That's cool. Like, it's not as freaking hot. So we had a little team, and we're just putting together these like tents and stuff for 12 hours. And then you would get off, and it would be like in the morning, sun's coming up. What you realize is that you had to sleep in this hot box tent. And now you're dealing with 120 degrees some days and trying to sleep in this freaking hot box with a bunch of other dudes. And that was hell. I'll tell you that. I almost wish I was on the day shift, right? But kind of to circle back to your question, with how to like deal with stress, right? That was probably one of the most stressful environments I've been on. It's kind of just being in an unknown place. Yeah, you're safe, but you don't know, like, someone gonna freaking bomb the base. You don't know. And then you don't really you don't I didn't know how to do all that, right? So it's like another tool to learn. You're like, guys would show you. And that's how like I learned, I'm dealing with a new maintenance guy I hired, and it's like, you may not know how to do it, but I can show you how to do it, and then you can learn, and then you get better, right? And as you get better, you're able to like deal with stress
Right.
much easier, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's not easy to do something you don't know how to do, but with practice and, dealing with ways how to manage your stress, So that was my military, and then fire trucks came, and then we were firemen for the rest of the 4 months we were there.
Okay, so then you were there in case an aircraft
Yeah.
exploded that you could
Which it
put
never
out.
happened, and that's why they got a gym there, and that's where I got my addiction to working out. They had a little store, and they had creatine and muscle milk protein. One of the guys from Texas would joke around when we came back, because I went from 160 pounds to 178 pounds. My world record of bench lifting of 275. Yes, I'm not in the 300 club, but that's where that came. And the guy Lewis would joke around, yeah, Lampert's over there just eating protein balls, all day, for snacks and this and that. And yeah, that was my time over in the deployment.
Yeah, that was smart that you started working out, because then when you came back, that's how you caught my eye.
That's
Instead
true.
of being this little pipsqueak that left for the military. Okay, so moving forward, our first house that we owned together on Sedgeworth.
Beautiful.
So we had no money when
Nope.
we bought this house. And so we would do all the construction ourselves,
Yeah.
myself included. So, we learned how to do flooring. We learned how to do upgrades, such as when I wanted to put in a single sink instead of having the 2 sink.
Yep.
And we put that in together. And that was a true bonding experience.
Yep.
Yeah. Do you want to tell the story of it?
I want you to tell the story of it,
Oh my
because
gosh.
you seem to still have some PTSD from
Yeah.
the sparks
Yeah.
and the dust cloud, where I told you need to spray
Yeah.
the
So
dust.
instead of Danny buying an actual tile saw that like has like water
Yeah.
that like sprays while you're cutting granite, he
Well, you
decided.
can't do it because we're doing it in place on the thing.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure there was a tool that
Probably.
we just didn't purchase.
Probably.
So instead, he has a grinder and tells me to have a spray bottle, and I'm just spraying as sparks are flying as he's grinding the countertop to fit in the stainless steel single sink that I wanted. And I was screaming the whole time because I was terrified
Wasn't
of the
helping the
sparks.
situation.
And Danny, in his normal calm manner, was just such a gentleman and guided us through it. Yeah, right. So we knew once we could make it through that, we could make it through anything, because that was, I was fearful for my hand. I thought I was going to lose a hand in that project.
Yeah. So I guess the lessons there learned is like, you can do things yourself and deal with sparks and dust clouds. And really what happens when you do it yourself, 2 things. Number one, you save money. You're not hiring a contractor to come in and charge you their rate. So you save a bunch of money there. But I think the biggest thing that you learn there is all the mistakes that you make, not having the right saw. What I've learned now is guys use a vacuum to suck the
The dust.
shop back, right?
Yes.
So, you learn by doing, you learn from your mistakes. So when someone, one of our listeners is thinking about taking on a project of their own, small scale, do it yourself in the beginning, depending on what it is, so you can learn all the lessons, you can learn how to do it, or have a mentor who does, like we'll talk about the next thing. I had a mentor working side by side.
Yeah, when we bought the next house. So the second house we bought,
Yeah.
Somerset, that was an original 1955 house.
Yeah.
And that house, I think, really, that's where you really learned how to do it all.
Bob the Builder.
And you and Bob the Builder basically did everything yourselves
Yep.
in 1 month to be able to get us to move in. And so, yeah, I mean, I guess the reason why we always did things ourselves was because we didn't have the money to pay a general contractor. And so we had to just have you do the labor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So with that one, instead of doing it myself, we hired Bob the Builder.
Well, you couldn't have done that ourselves. We moved walls, put a beam in,
Yeah.
You weren't at that level, let's be honest.
No, that's true.
And YouTube, yes, you would watch YouTube on how to do things, but I think there's no way.
Yeah, and it would take twice as long if you try to do it yourself. But the key points there is that was a full flip. So, if you're listening and you're thinking about kind of getting into what we're doing, you want to do all the things, right? From painting, drywall, mud, learn how to sand, texture. You want to learn about framing. You want to learn about basic electrical, basic plumbing, HVAC, all the systems, right? So from that experience, I mean, not like I could do it all, but Bob was experienced, and I would work hand in hand with him. Like you said, the beam, we removed the wall.
Yep.
Put in a beam to open up the kitchen. Learned, did you know that you gotta hold up the ceiling while you do that? So you gotta build temporary wall on each side, otherwise the ceiling comes down. Right? I wouldn't have known that. I would have just like, let's take this out, and
then our ceiling would have collapsed.
Yeah, throw the beam up. We raised the floor up. We learned that. We should have used concrete.
Yep.
Because whenever you would it was all on a slab foundation, and then the part that we
sunken living room we decided to bring up to level, and we built it out with plywood.
Yep.
So when I would walk on it with my high heels, you would hear the difference.
You hear the change. So
yeah.
So really, doing it yourself, you learn the lessons. You know what you're talking about. When a contractor comes in and he says it's going to be $50,000, you're like, dude, this is a $25,000 job. You're full of it. So you learn all those things through it.
Well, and I think on that point too, with contractors, because especially in real estate, I've seen so many different contractors' proposals, and it's so important to get multiple bids because you have contractors that are so busy that they are going to give you a really high bid, because if you're willing to pay that price, they'd be willing to do the job, but it doesn't mean that it's truly a fair price for the job.
Nope.
And that's something that I feel like people don't really understand. Unless you get multiple proposals, and then you're able to see, wow, why is this contractor 50 and this one's, 45, and then this person's 30. So, and as long as they have another thing is, as long as they have good referrals and references that
always
you can
check that.
verify.
Always check that.
Yes. Then you can say, yeah, this makes sense.
Yeah.
All right. So moving on to Harvard. Second syndication that we bought, 24 units, Santa Paula, California. We bought it and planned on doing a substantial remodel eviction on 8 of the 24 units plus add 6 ADUs. So we go in there, we closed in November of 2023, and we serve our evictions on December 1st. Not my favorite month to serve substantial remodel evictions. I
Yeah.
hate doing that.
I know.
Won't do it again moving
No.
forward. So we did that, and then we actually ended up remodeling a total of 13, though,
Yeah.
as things progressed and people moved out. So let's talk about that building,
Yeah.
the budget, why you chose to GC it yourself
Mhm.
versus hiring a GC, and would you do it again?
It went really well. Would I do it again? No. No. Is that all you want? No. I'll
No.
expand.
So
Okay.
it goes well, but you wouldn't do it again. Let's hear it.
So this was our first big syndication
Yeah.
and lots of pressure with budgets and timelines and stuff like that. So I don't think I had in the budget enough to hire a general contractor to add his 15 to 20%.
Right. Because I think we based prices off of not using a general
Yeah.
contractor.
Well, no, you base it off. I guess Yale we didn't use the general either, but yeah.
No, we didn't.
Yeah, you use the same guy. Okay. So you're right, but
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, we base it off that.
Yeah. So because we did that and didn't put that into the numbers, then there wasn't that room in the budget. So you ended up being
Yeah.
the GC basically, but not getting paid for it.
Yeah. So, explain the reasons why I did that. One of the benefits is that I could turn these units in 4 weeks. Typically, on the cut and dry, it should be about 6 to 8 weeks
Right.
turn. So I could do it in 4.
Why could you do them in 4 versus a general contractor doing them in 6 to 8?
Well, one of the reasons too is I had Victor,
Mm-hmm.
and Victor. So the general contractors, some of them, they hire each trade out.
Right. They hire their subs.
So you got to like work on their schedules, and
Right.
you got to wait for this guy or that guy. So Victor could do every trade. He could do electrical, he could do framing, he could do plumbing,
Yeah.
he could do not HVAC. He could do everything else.
Yeah.
Okay. So Victor, love him. I wish I could hire him as my,
He's retiring.
I know, as my right-hand guy, but I can't. So Victor, we would get in a unit, demo, start, the process, and I was managing it. And I'll be like, okay, we got to do this today, we got to do that today, and I would pick up all the supplies. I would be at Home Depot every day when it opened at 6 or 6:30 a.m.
Yeah.
He would give me a list. Boom. I would go there, deliver, good to go, right? I was there every moment. I could only focus on Harvard. If you're
Right.
trying to scale,
Right.
it's not feasible at all.
So that's one of the reasons why you wouldn't do it again, because then you can only focus on that one building.
Exactly.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So, yes, you'll get them done faster, less money, but it's not economies of scale. You're so tied up. You can save money without a GC, but you pay for it with time, stress, and scalability.
Okay, so you're saying then, so you used a GC for the ADUs, the 6 ADUs.
Yeah.
So you're saying then using a GC is less stressful?
Different kind of stress.
How?
The stress on Harvard is that I'm going to Home Depot, scheduling with Victor, and I'm scheduling all of it, right?
Yeah.
So that's that stress. The GC stress is like I'm just going to one guy and saying, "Hey, dude, we got a timeline here. I don't have to schedule the plumber. I don't have to schedule I don't have to schedule anybody. He does all the scheduling. I just get to go to him, say, "Hey, Mitch, I know you're my dad, but this is taking too long, okay? And I've had this conversation with you 20 times, okay? You guys are doing a good job. I don't want to totally beat him down, but this is taking too long. You guys need to pick it up."
Mm-hmm.
So it's a stress. It's a relationship stress versus day-to-day operation stress.
Okay. So then moving forward on the syndications that we've purchased, Now you are a real project manager.
I got promoted.
Yes,
Thank you.
you did.
Less money, more responsibility.
Yes, and do you want to explain that evolution and transition and why that happened, and so that we can
Yeah.
go
Yeah.
into it?
So we found out as partners, Marissa and I, that that was not feasible. We couldn't scale if I'm at Harvard and Home Depot every single day. So we took a step back and we're like, the budget for construction needs to go up. It needs to include a general contractor.
Mhm.
It needs to include his fee and, of course, overages. But also, one thing that it does is provide you protection
Yes,
from,
which is what I was harping the whole
yeah,
time.
liability.
Yes.
Okay, so now there's something in between us for, getting sued because the investors or tenants, whatever it is.
Or the person who, like, falls through the roof
Yep.
or cuts off his hand on the project, it's like, then we have insurance covering that, and
Yeah.
it's not them coming after us.
Yeah. So lesson learned from that is that you need to do everything, mostly everything, on the up and up. Okay. You need to have a contractor that has a full insurance with liability and work comp. And then anybody that comes on that job site, I don't give a shit if it's a demo guy, if it's a guy delivering a fridge, everybody needs to have liability and work comp and licensed
Yeah.
to protect yourself.
Yeah, because it's expensive if you have to pay
So
for someone.
So now, that's my job as a project manager to make sure everybody has that, um, to manage the architects, permits, communication, the budget, contractors, and timelines. And, my day consists of that daily of, you know, every day it's something. I mean, whether I'm getting today a call from Ventura County Air Pollution who said, "Hey, we're supposed to meet there at 10." And I said, "Well, you never confirmed." And then I look back. She's like, "Yeah, I confirmed Monday." I'm like, "Today's Wednesday. I sent you that 2 weeks ago, and you sent that." I missed the email, but I had to go there and show her the units that we have met her requirements of asbestos testing. So I'm a project manager. I got to go do that. I have to be the liaison between the city and permit process, the city and my architect. Um, and really just managing the day-to-day to keep things moving forward. And if you're a true hands-on operator, you're not sitting back, so I'm always at the job site. Guys they don't know when I'm coming, but when I'm there, they're freaking on it.
Let's talk about permits, okay? So, permits for ADUs, I feel like are kind of like when you were testing for the fire department. And you would test and do well on the test, and then I would assume in my ignorance that, "Oh, you're gonna get hired on this fire department." And I feel like it's kind of like that with permits. It's like, "Oh, we made it through building and planning." And I'm like, "Great. So now we have permits." And it's like, "No, we don't."
Yeah.
And I'm like and then it's like, "Oh, we're gonna get them by the end of this month, by the end of this month." And it's literally like when you were testing for these fire departments,
Yeah.
and it's like, "Oh, you got into backgrounds.
Mhm.
Oh, you are now an alternate."
Yep.
Like, all of that is the same way I feel about permits, and I just feel like you've been leading me on our whole relationship through these different phases, and I really would like to know, when am I getting my permits on things, and, like, why is there such a variance
Yeah.
from one city to another about when you get permits, and what would you give advice to people who are going to permit their own ADUs, whether it's 1 unit in their backyard, a garage conversion, to, 6 units? Like, what are some helpful tips on that? Because I feel like that has been, for me, one of the most inconsistent
Mhm.
variables in construction management of timelines.
Wow. Yeah. I'm
Sorry, you didn't write that
No,
one
I know,
down for
but
me.
it's so true, and it's kinda like when we put out the K1 information. And
You're calling out Jason right now?
No,
Yeah.
calling it myself.
Oh.
Because I want to send out, hey, this is what you're going to get for depreciation. So you can
Oh,
plan.
you're talking about the cost segregation.
Yeah, so you can plan accordingly. And so you can tell your CPA, I'm going to get this roughly. But the thing is like, I'm just making my best judgment by
your best guess.
Yeah. And I've been wrong sometimes and got, just like that call we had. She's like, I thought it was 46,000. It's 36. And I said, I added it wrong. And I want to, and I'm probably going to do this. I'm going to let you put it out from now on. I'm not going to do it.
That's probably a good idea.
But I'm more going to just say, sorry, but we're not going to let you know until we have the final numbers from the CPA.
Okay. But back to permits.
Yeah. So permits are
like, what are some, like, I know between Yale and Harvard, same city, and you got two pretty big difference in time frames. So give some good tips on that.
Yeah. So here's the thing. So every city's different. Santa Paula is a mom and pop. It's Gladys at the front. Dan's the head guy, building official. And then you got, what's her name in planning? You got, these guys. And they're mom and pop. Like their systems aren't up to date to today's standards.
Okay.
So, but here's the thing. The reason that Yale took less than, or no, Yale took longer than
Harvard took less than Yale.
Yeah. So the reason is, I was going to say, is because it was bigger, but Yale was, and this is the tip. So with Yale, I hired an architect that my dad recommended, and he's this grumpy architect. And every time I would like call him, he would just be like, I got it. I'm working on it. And I let him just do the whole thing. I didn't get involved. I didn't send emails to Gladys. I didn't check in. And he, so with me not checking in, so if you're going to take on a project, you're the liaison between the architect and the permit people.
Right.
So Harvard, I took a different approach. Well, I hired a new architect who specialized only in ADUs. So if you need someone, Salvador Cabral with SAC Architectural, that's all he does is ADUs, and he's done thousands. So now he's got a whole team. He's got a staff of like 10 people.
Right.
Okay. So I make sure CC me on every single communication with the city. I know when the timeline is. I know when they're supposed to get back. So I follow up. So I took from 12 months.
Yeah.
Yale, 13 months to 9 months. So we saved 4 months. And that, I don't even need to explain what that does. That just helps your deal out.
Yeah,
right?
It's huge.
So that's that. And then the difference between every city's different. Oxnard, yeah, they're sophisticated, but they don't even take fucking
electronic.
Plans. Every time I have to go print the plans, $675 every time, and I'm carrying 2 stacks. I go do it for him because Salvador's in
LA,
Long Beach,
and
I deliver them, and then they go and they mark up red marks on it. So then they're ready. I pick them up. Salvador, hey, send a runner, pick these up, right? So they've taken the longest, even though that they have like better systems. No, I don't know. They're
so
big.
Are you with Oxnard and Thousand Oaks? You're waiting on permits for ADUs on both ones.
Yep.
Do you think that is Thousand Oaks trending the same as Oxnard, where it's just like?
Yeah, but Thousand Oaks is more sophisticated. They take the digital plans, but here's the thing. And I was talking to someone about it. We are the first.
Yeah, that's the thing I've noticed.
We are the first to go in, take a big multifamily, add 8 ADUs, add 6 ADUs. They're like, whoa, brakes. Hold on, guys. I don't even, you can't even do this. Like, that was their first thing. No, you cannot build the 6 ADUs.
How does it feel meeting another person who comes from a place of no?
Who's the no? Me?
Inside joke. Yes. I always say that you come from a place of no.
When you guys give me some BS suggestions, I'm going to say no. I know what you're talking about. So, but it sucks having that.
Well, in Santa Paula, we had to guide them through it. So that's probably why too. Then they're like, oh, now we know, the
Yeah.
state guidelines. And so Thousand Oaks, which is shocking to me. You know what's shocking to me actually is not Thousand Oaks, is Oxnard.
I know.
Oxnard has so many apartments.
They build
How?
so much, but I think, and I met with a guy, remember, I'm not going to say his name, that Rick guy who's like, knows everybody.
Yeah.
And what he said on the big projects is that they have someone dedicated.
Oh.
So you're paying that guy for a year.
Yeah.
He's dedicated
To your project to review right
I'm
away.
in the, and
In the
that's what I'm
mix.
going to do on the next one. It's like, can I get a dedicated guy and pay more? Because I'm in the freaking
With
line.
everybody.
I'm in the line with everybody.
Yeah.
And even Nicole over there was like, yeah, dude, we're going to get to you, but we got 3 other people ahead of you.
Yeah.
Right? So like, what I would suggest for anyone is that, number one, you hire the right architect.
Yeah.
That's done it. And if they've done it with the city you're doing, better, because that's where Salvador hasn't done with TO. He hasn't done with none of them he's done.
Because he's used to LA County.
So, but I weigh that. I'm like, but he knows, right? So when we're doing herbs right now, we already have the game plan.
You mean Warwick?
No,
because
well,
of
no,
herbs.
we have the game. Yeah, from herbs, Warwick has the game plan.
Right, because it's your second
We
one.
know that they're going to ask for a soil report.
Mm-hmm.
So we're doing the soil ahead of time. We're converting these garages. We know what they're going to ask. So use someone who has got approved plan. So number one, right architect, someone who's used the city that you're going through. And then you can't just sit back, okay? You need to follow it up. You need to be emailed on every communication. The city won't CC you, but you can see your communication with when our team submits.
Right.
So you want to see that, right? And then you want to create, if you got multiple projects like we do, my architect has a spreadsheet.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't have to go, hey, Nathalia, what is going on with this? And what's going on with that? What's going on with this? Every Friday, they send me the spreadsheet with the updates.
Oh, that's smart. To give you like a transaction timeline update.
That is me.
You requested that?
Requested that.
Wow.
And
I'm impressed.
It takes away a lot of unnecessary communication.
Well, yeah, because you're getting updated weekly, so then you know.
And then the last thing to do is talk to an operator like me, somebody else who's done it, and say, hey, how can I get these permits faster? What are the steps I can take ahead of time?
Yeah.
And what are the lessons learned? And I mean, that is freaking gold, what I just told you. Like, and I'm happy to talk to people. I love talking to people. So reach out. Like, I'll guide you through it. I'll send you the right people. And yeah.
Perfect. All right. So budgets, negotiations, real construction economics. So you always say construction is a daily negotiation, from bulk pricing with trades to contingency planning and contractor payments. How should operators realistically think about construction budgets, especially when they're scaling projects?
Just know that every single time your budget's going to get blown up.
By how much? What percentage should you have as a contingency
factor? 15%. That's fair. Okay. And that's for all the unforeseen shit that you can't see. Like, you open up a wall and you're like, oh my God. Remember underneath herbs, that 10-foot section of pipe?
Yeah.
It was a sewer pipe, and we did a sewer inspection.
Yeah.
And it was on the outside. So, like, they're going inside.
Yeah.
They couldn't see it. So, like, that's, $7,000. They got to replace 20 feet underneath the building. What?
So remodels versus ADUs, do you feel like you still need that 15% contingency?
No.
Why?
You do not, because the ADUs are approved plans, and it's like, exactly how much everything's going to cost.
Okay.
You still need a contingency. I think 10% is always kind of $1 million ADU. do 10% just to be safe,
In
right?
case you have to change something.
Yeah, and that's what it is you change things a lot.
Yeah.
You can't make up your mind if you want this type of blind or that, or we want a shower with tile or this or that. So those things change.
Right.
But in regards to like budget, right? So every day is a negotiation, okay? Like I'll give you a real world example today.
Okay.
In unit laundry, kind of after the fact, we decided on a building, and you got to install the freaking and the fridges. Now with that new law, you got to install fridges.
Right.
So my guys are like, "Hey, dude, we got 15 fridges installed. All of them needed to be leveled, and then the in unit laundry, most of them are installed." I'm like, with the fridges, I was like, dude, I'm gonna have my in-house guy, Santiago, put the fridge in. You put a fridge in, you plug it in, you take the plastic off. Usually they have this little thing on the bottom to level it out. He's gonna do 10 of them in one day. It cost me $250, $300. He's gonna do the other 10 the next day at $600. These guys wanted $175 per fridge
To plug it in, take the plastic off,
and level.
adjust the knobs on the bottom.
And then they wanted $250 per
washer and dryer.
Yeah. So I was like, nope. You already did it too. Well,
You should have asked.
should have asked. So I'm upset that we're having this conversation. Like,
yeah, like
what?
after the fact, you're gonna go and charge.
Why wouldn't you freaking reach out, dude, and ask me? Like I like.
Well, okay.
Well, hold on.
Question included in that is that the labor of like taking it from downstairs in the carports and bringing it up.
Yeah.
Because how are you going to do that with one guy?
Well, I would help him.
Oh, you personally are going to go.
Just push it up the stairs, whatever.
Yeah, but not everybody.
So, yeah, you should have called me. But now we're at this point, so let's negotiate. I'm not going to pay $175 per fridge. I'm not going to pay $125 per fridge. I'm not asking for things for free. How long did it take? We're going to do time and materials. On that, we're going to do time and materials on the in-unit laundry. And then backing up to the aerial view, when you're originally doing the budget, okay, plumber has this whole scope for 26 units. Electrician has a whole scope for 26 units. HVAC, 26. If you got a bid for one unit, let's just say HVAC is going to be $7,000. If I give you 26, will you do it for 5 each one?
Right, because then they're getting more and they're doing.
So every time that negotiation's in the beginning, and so I get both pricing. So it's a positive and a negative, because when you have so many units going on, and I hired Austin Air to do the HVAC. Hey, dude, we got 7 units ready right now. They just came available to be installed. Well, dude, I'm on this big job now.
Mm-hmm.
I can't be there for 2 weeks. Okay, Mitch, go hire Carlos from Airtight. And he's like, dude, Carlos from Airtight is going to be $7,000. We got the bulk pricing on the 5. What do you want to do? Well, fuck that. I'm not going to pay $7,000. I don't have it in budget.
Right. So now you have to wait.
Nick, you guys need to get there sooner. So that's how the bulk thing, it's good and bad. And then,
But couldn't that have been like, I mean, most people are not like going to be doing that scale of remodeling.
No.
Like even your traditional operators do not do the value add play that we do, and don't generally do as many substantial remodel evictions as we do.
Yeah.
They're mostly going to do 1 or 2 here or there. So that's hard for them to do.
Yeah.
For sure. And then, if you're just adding an ADU to your backyard or to your garage, you're definitely not going to be able to. But you still could get multiple bids and then have them bid against each other.
You do that.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah.
3 bids, bid against each other, whoever you like the best.
Go with them. May not be the best price either. You might just go
Yeah.
with someone who you
Some
think is going to do a better job.
So when you're deciding that, you're thinking of who's going to do the best job, and then timeline, and then price. So you might pick the middle guy. He's not cheapest. He's the fastest, and he's the best at his trade.
Okay. Well, good.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I think that you gave us some really good tips about construction
I
management
hope you
and
enjoyed it.
how people
I love it.
can
Mhm.
apply it to their own
Yep.
ADUs, remodels, apartment buildings, what have you. So at the end of every session, we do something that's called the Final Five. I don't
That I
know if
made up.
you've heard of it.
Mhm.
So I'm going to read you a series of questions, and these are rapid fire. So I need you to be answering these quickly. So
Okay.
ADHD boy, let's do
I'm ready.
this.
I know.
Okay.
I'm ready for the next guest we have on.
All right. Ready? Let's go. Question 1. Looking back from cleaning pool decks and handyman jobs to managing large multifamily renovations and ADU projects today, what moment shaped you the most as a construction operator?
So in the beginning, doing all the non-glamorous work, cleaning bathrooms, blowing decks, vacuuming common areas, it wasn't glamorous, but that's what built my work ethic
Okay.
before I managed any property. So the work
Okay.
ethic from that.
Okay. Question 2. What was your biggest construction mistake early on, and what did it teach you?
Easy. Trying to do everything by myself to save money. In the beginning, I was managing subs, going to Home Depot, doing all this on-site constantly, and still making decisions every day. I worked on small projects, but it won't be sustainable at scale.
Okay, good answer. Number 3, if a new investor is deciding between self-managing renovations or hiring a general contractor, what should they consider first?
They should look at their time that they have, their experience, and the scale of the project. And if it's a small remodel, 1 unit, yeah, self-manage, save money, do it yourself. But once you're dealing with multiple units, ADUs, and stuff like that, it becomes a full-time job. So you need to get really structure involved and get the whole team involved, not just you.
Okay. Number 4, you've managed everything from a single unit remodel to 20 plus unit renovations. What actually changes when you scale construction?
Um, every every everything becomes system driven. Okay. Single unit, you can react to problems, but 20 plus units, you got to have a plan ahead to solve all these problems. And, negotiating is a big factor. But when you're dealing with like multiple units, you build the relationships and you will get better pricing. So mentally, you got to, I needed to shift from thinking like a handyman to thinking like a true operator and managing the business plan that Marissa Buss puts in front of you.
Exactly. So, your 5th question. So, everything from Sedgeworth to Somerset to Harvard to now large scale GeoLive renovations and ADUs. Do you still enjoy construction today, or do you wish you were just a fire captain?
I hate construction.
So, are you saying that you enjoy firefighting over construction?
No. I'm like that schoolgirl who's like doesn't know like if she likes that boy or whatever. I love it, I hate it, and then I love it, but I do it because I love it and I look at the big picture.
Of what it gives you.
Yeah.
Yep.
This is gonna bring We're building this amazing thing that's gonna turn into something special
Yep.
for our investors, for our tenants, our family. I mean, we are starting that. Like, we are the ground up operators that they're gonna look back, the kids will be like, "Oh, yeah, mom, grandma and grandpa, man, they freaking built this thing." Like, yeah, they worked all the time, but they were super cool parents, best parents ever. And now they live in Hidden Hills and have a ranch. They ride horses every day.
Do I have to ride the horses? I don't want to ride a
No,
horse.
you just have to pay for them.
Oh, okay. I can do that. So what you're saying is that running into a burning building versus running into a construction project, which one?
I hate fires. I can't stand going on fires. So I'll take construction all day long.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
So,
Well, thank you for being here today
Yeah.
and being on our show. I appreciate it. And
yeah. So I got a final thought, if you don't mind.
sure,
Okay.
please share it.
So that was honestly probably the most fun episode until we interview Mark and Jordan X, which I'm so excited about. And honestly, it's always easy and fun when you're talking about my journey. But most importantly, like I truly believe that all of our listeners will get real value and practical knowledge from this episode. So we didn't just talk about theory and some BS. We talked about real construction, real repairs, real projects, real mistakes that we've made, and what it takes to execute from a small remodel at Sedgeworth to now, I don't know, 36 remodels, 26 remodels, plus 14 ADUs. No, plus the other 22 ADUs this year. So if you enjoyed this episode, which I mean, you have to, I'm sure you did. I mean, how could you not? Please make sure you like, subscribe, and also share the episode to someone who can find value from it. And as we continue to grow, that's exactly how we're going to be able to bring even more value. We'll get better guests and then more real content for you. So thank you again, truly, from the bottom of my heart and Marissa's.
Thank you very
for
much.
tuning in and being part of Leverage community. We'll see you on the next episode.
Bye-bye.
Bye.